We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. The 2024 NCAA Championships has come and gone, and we're going to dive into every single upset that happened in the tournament. But first, we have an announcement to make. We have ourselves a winner of the Cactus Wrestling t-shirt from the Fantasy Lineup Challenge. So, without further ado, the winner is Reed Ryder.
Woo-hoo!
Congratulations, Reed. You have won yourself a free Cactus Wrestling t-shirt. So here's what we need from you. Email us, and we're gonna have you confirm the team that you submitted, and then send us an email, and then you get to choose which t-shirt you want. And I guess as a part two, we'll come back to the scores in a second, but as a part two, the Cactus Wrestling Etsy store is now open.
Hey, what?
Let's go, Cactus Gear.
You can get yourself some Cactus Wrestling merchandise. So Reed, pick a shirt that you want. So you got a choice between the heavy cotton tee, the moisture wicking tee, or the three heads of us. So you get a t-shirt, not one of the hoodies. And then there's different colors. So you can look in here.
Doesn't
And
have to
we
be
got
green.
black, we got gray, we got the lime green. I would suggest the lime green. That's the classic. And for the moisture wicking, you got, I think it's just gray. And oh no, whoa, there's a lot of blue, there's orange, there's
Those are
dark
some interesting
green,
color
there's
choices.
light
Some
green.
swag to wear for when you go to Fargo when you guys are training.
Yeah, exactly. So congrats, Reed. Or you could choose the three heads of us. But getting back to this, I mean, look at this team race. 156 to 154 and a half to 152. I double and triple checked. So, this is accurate and everything. Shout out to Eamon for taking fifth place.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sean,
And
Sean's
Eamon's dad taking top,
I
top.
know, yeah. Top
8.
10 right here.
Beat me.
Drama King, come on, man. I mean, yeesh. But we had some fun with this, and it was it was a tight race in the t-shirt race, but
I think I was somewhere around like 20 something.
I don't know what I had because someone picked my lineup for me.
But it's because I had to pick it for you. It wasn't good.
I think I was in like the top 12 or something. My team was pretty good. But anyway, congrats, Reed. Send us an email. We'll make a post, so make sure you see it somewhere. And now let's get into the video. All right, where do we even start? I mean, I guess we gotta just start at 125.
125.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I called Tristan Lujan for the major upset. Someone thought I deleted a comment saying that, but I never commented it. I just said it in the video that I thought Tristan Lujan was going to pull off the upset, which he did not.
Is that what happened?
So.
I was super. I know this isn't like the video yet, but like I was kind of disappointed in Braden Davis. Talking about a 1 seed makes the quarters. Hey, loses a super tight match to the guy that's the eventual champion. How do you wrestle back? Not at all.
Yes, not at all. Exactly.
Yeah, he lost to Jory Folk in overtime to not even All-American.
But there was upset after upset in this bracket. I mean, 125 we knew was going to be crazy from the rip. Like, no,
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we were saying the 1 seed was not going to win it.
yeah, that's true. I thought Davis could do it, but could and would are two different things.
Nah, Big Ten title, that's it.
Yeah. Shout out to Richie Figgs though. The dude showed up. He was ranked 1 at the start of the season. Or at least we had him ranked 1 at the start of the season.
Yeah,
battled some
injuries
and shortcomings throughout the season, but he looked great and got it done, and he's a national champion.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, good job to him. I was a bit surprised that the guy that caused all the commotion and huge news last year didn't even make the podium.
Well, yeah, Matt Ramos loses in overtime to Noto, and then he drops down and he loses 4-0 to Stanit.
How about Noah Certain going 0-2?
Yeah, that too.
I was like, what? Volk loses in round 1 to Harvard. Poulin beats Certain, Unger and Peterson, a close matchup, and sure enough, it was. But I was like, man, I was super surprised that Volk went down so early and that
Well,
Certain
and then
lost as
Volk's
well.
path to All-Americaning was actually like really
Yeah.
difficult.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
Brandon
had to beat
Kaler, a former
Brandon.
All-American, Cooper Flynn, who was ranked like as high as 1, I think, Provo, who was ranked 1 at one time, Braden Davis, the 1 seed.
If
And he
you
got it
would,
done, found a way, 7th place. And
if
then how
you would
about
have told me though that
Oh, go ahead.
I would say if you would have told me that Brendan McCrone was going to major almost tech Noah Certain at the
Oh
NCAA's, I
yeah,
would have laughed at you. I would have like, there's no way.
yeah, no,
It's like
especially after
McCrone.
watching McCrone at Big Tens, it was like,
That's what I mean.
who is this guy?
Shout out to Anthony Noto. He took 4th place last year, and he followed it up with a 3rd place finish this year. I mean,
Yeah,
So clearly he knows how to get it done at the big stage. What
So
about D'Agostino, man?
I'm not surprised by that. I mean, I actually had this Caleb Smith beating Stanek and D'Agostino, and then losing to Barnett. And then I had Ayala in the final. So I actually did pretty good on my predictions. I
yeah.
had Ayala winning, but I didn't have, and I had Figs against Ramos, but then I had Ramos in the finals. So,
We all had too much faith in Ramos.
but
Yeah, I
hey,
mean, it's
shout out to Drake Ayala for keeping the Iowa streak alive. Champion in every tournament for what, since 1997, I think they said.
Yeah, finalist, yeah.
Finalist, sorry.
Yeah, for almost 30 years. I mean, 20 plus years.
34 years, yeah. That's impressive.
How about I was like again, McKee, a guy that I didn't expect to go 1 and 2. Like, there's so many guys that I was like, oh, okay, like the seating's not great, but the cream will rise to the top, and guys that were good last year will do good again this year, and that's not what happened.
So speaking of seeds, I actually broke it down by the numbers. So there were 9 instances in the championship side of the bracket for this weight class where the lower seeded guy beat the higher seeded guy. And then there were also 9 instances in the consolations where the lower seeded guy beat the higher seeded. So 18 total, and out of a 64 matches in this bracket. So a little over 25% were quote unquote upsets. So I don't know if that number's high or not, but it's interesting to look at it like that.
Now, this is going to be a common theme at every single weight. The Camacho and NC State underperforming. Camacho's 7 seed. You think maybe he's making the podium, and he does not.
NC State it's tough, man. I don't know what it is. Like, they have great coaching. They have great competition in the room. They recruit well. They, wrestle hard throughout the year. But for some reason, they have a hard time putting it together for NCAAs, it seems, year after year.
Yeah, and based on seeding, they were projected to take 2nd overall, and they didn't even break the top 10.
I think it's a matter of they're just overseeded, I think.
Yeah, it's that happens with a lot of teams.
Well, or they're not peaking at the right time. Like maybe they're peaking at ACCs instead of at NCAAs.
No.
Maybe
they tend to do really well at ACCs. Maybe next year they should just concede the ACC title and see how it goes.
That sounds like a great idea. So we go into 133, and honestly, like looking back on it, I'm sorry, I don't think either of these guys should have even been allowed to wrestle this year. Like, they both graduated high school in 2017. That means what? They're at least 25 years old each. I don't know.
So Vito's going to be 25 this pretty soon. I think his birthday's in July. Don't quote me on that. But he's going to be 25 this year, and Dayton already turned 26 before the NCAA started. He turned 26 at the beginning of the month. I mean, my brother joked about it in one of our group chats. He's like, I finished wrestling in college 3 years ago, and I'm still younger than Dayton.
Yeah, I mean, Vito said it in his interview. It felt like the refs were trying to steal it from him, and he didn't let that happen.
Yeah.
It was one of the most frustrating finals matches.
Oh yeah, with all those stoppages, like, I mean, granted, yeah, there was blood, but still, like, I feel like every 10 seconds something stopped the match.
I think my big takeaway is like there's got to be some sort of penalty for throwing in the challenge brick. There's just way too much leniency with it.
I think they also have to find a way to speed up the coaches' reviews because some of them took 5 minutes, and I'm like, dude, that's almost a whole match.
Well, yeah. How about the challenge of a challenge?
I
No,
love
I
that,
hate
dude. I
that.
love that. I thought that was so fun. I mean, bad for the sport, funny to watch. When I was like, oh, he's gonna like Brands did it too in the 125.
Yeah.
He's gonna
I'm gonna
challenge the
that
challenge, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing, dude?
Well, Mike and I was viewing it together, and I was saying like, if I was just a casual person watching this, like I'm switching the channel. I'm not sticking around to see this. Like this
You're
is
just trying to
such a bad representation of what the sport could be, which is a
It's
shame.
it's so you're right though, but it's so tough to be like, oh, my fiance was watching with me, and then she's, well, why is this happening? I'm like, well, it's a review, and she's like, this is boring, and she went back to her phone. And I'm like, if you're a casual fan trying to grow the sport, and you're like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, yeah, I don't know, and I'm watching it.
Right.
Like it makes it hard for people to get into wrestling, because they want the action. I mean, that's why March Madness is taking over during NCAA's, is that everyone's like, hey, look at all this basketball, a lot of scoring, a lot of games, constant motion. And in wrestling, they're like, hey, why is this going on for 28 minutes?
Yep.
You know?
So there are two fun facts about this weight class. One, this is the only weight class where there was not a single pin. No one got pinned in this weight class.
They're just built different at 133.
The second fun fact is that the top 8 seeds all Americans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, this one didn't have as many upsets. This one kind of went to.
This one technically actually had more upsets, but the top 8. So this one had 20 total upsets out of 65 matches. And I define upset as the lower seeded guy beating a higher seeded guy. So no pins, 20 total upsets though, but 1 through 8 got it done on the podium. So I mean, they all made the quarters, which means all the losers in the quarters won in the consolation in the blood round. So
right,
yeah,
I mean,
not too many huge upsets here.
Dayton Fix should have been upset by Buzakis, Frost, and Ragusin, though.
Yeah, I feel like Dayton.
I don't know how he won all 3 of those matches.
He got bailed out a lot.
What do you guys think about the treatment of Dayton Fix? I feel like everyone was calling him a villain, and I'm like, I was telling Mike this. I'm like, what has the dude done? Like, he's just following the rules. He has the eligibility. He's never spoken bad about anyone. Like,
I don't see him as a villain. I just don't root for him because, he's not going to win.
Dayton, I feel like, is in a weird spot. I mean, we talked about this just in our texts, is that, Carter is the hero and Dayton's the villain. And it's like Carter talks about pissing on the grave of Rocco Welsh, and people are like, heck yeah, Carter, do that.
Yeah.
Dayton's
You're
like,
a true freshman.
Dayton's like, I just want to have a good match. And like, can you believe the nerve of this guy? It's so weird. Like, for some reason, I also root against Dayton. And it's like, well, by all accounts, he's a super nice guy. He's done a great job in the NCAAs and the world level success. The only few knocks I've had is that his, performance enhancing drug issue in 2021, I think, where he was like, oh man, I didn't know I took steroids. And then again, I don't like the style that he wrestles, where he's constantly looking to the corner to be like, can you believe they're doing this? Let's challenge this. Or like we saw with Vito last night, he was questioning the ref. Like stuff that you tell your middle schoolers, like, hey, you don't say anything to the ref. I talk to the ref. I'm the coach. You just wrestle. And I feel like Dayton's constantly looking for that like favorable call, which doesn't help him. And finally, people, myself included, are hyper focused on his age. When you have a guy that's 17 in NCAAs and a guy that's 26 in NCAAs in the same bracket, and you're like, dude, he is almost a decade older. How can I possibly want this guy to win?
It's like technically a whole wrestling generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't really use that argument in this weight class because Vito's only a year younger.
Well, that's it, but I feel like
so basically, if Fix and Vito had graduated like they probably should have already, the finals could have been Crookham Bailey.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, Nasir Bailey.
Crookham and Bailey were same side, weren't they?
Well, they're on the same side, but if you remove one.
Oh, yeah. And that would be two young guys that have been having a great season. That would have been super exciting. Sucks, but That's why there's next year. Um,
And again, NC State not living up to his seed. He was seeded 3. He took 7. No, 8th. He took 8. My bad.
Hey, he's still All-American though. So
not like
wow.
Aaron Nagel.
Well,
Yeah, not knocking out Nagao, helping Penn State not have 10 All-Americans.
well,
It's
and that
amazing.
goes to show like that guy All-American for Minnesota last year transfers to Penn State and he regressed. And
Mhm.
we kind of saw all season long, and now
Yeah,
you
we were saying
wonder,
it.
yeah, well, now you wonder, like, is this guy going to be the guy for Penn State for the next
I
2
mean,
years?
I'm gonna say it. I was impressed with how Minnesota's guys did, considering the lineup that they had returning really wasn't all that great. I mean, Salazar was their best returning guy, and he was a returning round of 12. Like, okay, yeah, McKee had All-American a couple times before, but last year he did not All-American. Like, Salazar was their top returning guy, and yet they managed to get him and what we'll get to with Von Bauer. Like, I mean, I thought they did pretty well, all things considered. Whereas NC State, I was continually disappointed in.
So 141, there was no pigtail match, but we picked Mendez to beat Bo. And I honestly though, like, usually
under
I'm
there.
on Bo's case for like I don't like the way he wrestled. I thought he wrestled a heck of a finals match, and like
Yeah,
he should be
that
proud of his
finale was
effort.
great.
Yeah, like I liked watching Bo in that match, honestly. And like he can hang his head held high because like he actually took shots and went for it. Mendez didn't take a single shot in that match. So although like I had picked Mendez to win, I liked the way Bo wrestled in that match, and it just didn't work out.
Like I
How
said,
about?
oh, you go
Go
first.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was hoping for Bo. It was the match that I thought it was going to be. Both guys escape. Kind of feeling each other out in the first period, but Bo really did try to get after it in the third, which is weird because I thought he was just gonna hand fight, say, hey, okay, cool, let's go overtime, and I'll win there. It's kind of funny that he was in the same position that Penn State actually hated last year, like about that almost Matt return position, looking for that hand touch takedown, where Max Dean lost on last year because he Granby rolled, and they're like, that's a takedown, and they changed that rule for this year. Penn State was super behind it, like, hey, yeah, let's get rid of that. That's a bad rule. Funny enough, if the rule doesn't change, Bo wins this year.
Yeah.
Well, you hate to see it for Bo.
It all comes full circle.
Well, talking about regressions, how about Real Woods?
I mean, he still took fourth place. I mean, or yeah, fourth
Fourth
place.
place. Come on now. Like the
I
guy
think-
was
Yeah.
arguably he was like in an overtime match to win the title last year. You thought he was untouchable going into this year, and he clearly has lost his edge.
I mean, you could still be proud of fourth place. I know he
Yeah.
lost to Lockman McNeil, which I actually had picked that one, but I don't know. Yeah, second to fourth, it's like we use that term regress, and we judge it on like the outcome at the NCAA tournament. But like he had 5 losses on the season. He definitely didn't look himself the entire
He was
year.
undefeated going into the finals last season. So yeah, I'd say he definitely regressed.
A little bit, but still,
A little
I mean,
bit. 1 loss to 5 losses.
I know,
Like,
but are you really going to
Yeah.
argue a guy going from second to fourth? Like you're still scoring a lot of team points at the end of the day.
I'd say yeah, he got worse. He became beatable.
Well, what if everyone else just got better?
That probably
it was-
happened as well, which means he didn't get better.
I usually give Iowa a lot of crap. I don't know if it's a coaching situation with them or what, but a lot of people this year called Real Woods out and said he just looks like he doesn't want to be there. He's been wrestling. Look, he's been in college a long time. We know that as well. He's got a lot of mileage on the body. The weight cutting sucks. Rumors were that he had an injury. It's just a long sport to do for as many years as he's doing it. And I wasn't surprised that he was like, okay, like I'm kind of just done with it. But if you look back to the prediction video, I still thought if he made the semis against Bo, he'd have a good shot just because he is still a great wrestler. But as we saw, I think he's just like, I'm ready to hang it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. What about the craziness of Crook, Edmund, Fungaro, Vombauer, all 20-something seeds winning their first round match, knocking off the 7, the 10, the 12, and the 13 seeds.
Well, yeah, shout out to Vance Vombar, 26. He was the lowest seeded All-American this year for Minnesota, 26 seed, makes his way to the quarters, loses to Bo. And that was a tight match until he got pinned.
Well, honestly, he blew the takedown on Bo. He almost had it, like missed Bo's leg, and then Bo somehow came around, locked the cradle up, and that's how he ended up getting pinned. But had he not missed Bo's leg, he would have taken him down and beat him.
Hey, he could have gotten behind and then Bo do a Granby roll. So
Yeah, that's it.
shout out to Ryan Jack, Connecticut All-American, following in his brother's footsteps. So that's great to see for Connecticut, getting a guy on the podium. Great exposure there. And then Anthony Ekamandia wrestled really well. Brock Hardy, third place.
Etchemendia looked so big in his matches.
Yeah.
He looks like a human freight train.
Well, I heard that he's definitely going to go up 1 or potentially 2 weight classes next year.
I could see that. He looked huge. But Ryan Jack did a great job wrestling against him because I thought Etchemendia was gonna, just out muscle him, and Ryan kept it really close.
Yeah, that was a closer match than I thought it was going to be. But I figured Etchemendia was going to handle him.
Yeah.
So there was 21 total upsets in this one. So right around 33%.
So far, 25 has had the least amount of upsets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's logical.
149. Caleb Henson. Hey, I told you guys in the beginning of the year this guy could be a title contender. I didn't think he was going to do it per se. In this
I agreed that I thought he was going to be a finalist until he lost to Arrington.
I felt super good about Ridge Lovett all year, and then I was proven wrong. So
we all thought Ridge Lovett was going to do it.
It was interesting why Ridge chose top. I don't know why he chose top in that match against.
Is Henson that good on top that Ridge was afraid to be on bottom against him? I feel like that can't be right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we saw him wrestle Austin Gomez. He sucked him back, put him on his back. Kid's incredibly strong. True sophomore, national champion. I mean, kudos to the guy.
I sent you guys that fun fact. There were 3 true freshman All-Americans last year, and all 3 of them are now national champions.
Oh, yeah.
Levi Haynes.
Henson and Haynes.
Henson, who's the third? Mendez?
Mendez, Henson, Haynes.
Yeah. We saw Austin Gomez make the finals, and he just wrestled a little reckless. Like, he didn't have to go for that gator roll. He didn't have to.
That's what he always does, though.
I was like, yeah, that's textbook Austin Gomez, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a bad idea. Let's try it.
Yeah.
How about Abbas knocking out Kasak?
How about Kasak coming all the way back?
Kasak was that dude for Penn State, winning 7 straight in a row.
And
Donnie
to continue to crap on NC State. How about the 3 seed Jackson Arrington losing to Kasak on the way to not All-American?
Yeah, the guy who beat Caleb Henson at ACCs is not even All-American. That's tough. I mean,
how about Kasak majoring Ridge Lovett 10-1 after losing him twice this season?
Yeah, Ridge really did not look the same after losing in the semis. Like he
took 6th. He slid
it's not even like he injured. He legit just lost both those matches. And it was like, I think losing in the semis, he lost all heart.
Well, yeah, we see it every year. You go with the expectation to win, and then when you fall short, it's like you're just kind of going through the motions at that point. It's like,
yeah, that's the thing. Ridge went through the motions. I don't think he had the mental fortitude to go back for third, which he clearly is capable of doing. But
and the last thing you want to do is wrestle a guy like Tyler Kasak, who was on a streak as wrestling the tournament of his life, and he wins. And yeah, so Ty Waters takes 4th place for West Virginia, Quinn Kinner for Ryder, and Swiderski It's on the podium.
Kinner, I was surprised to see.
Quinn Kinner.
So
Definitely didn't pick him to do that.
49 had 23 upsets, by the way, the most out of all the weight classes.
I didn't think Ja'Cory Teamer was actually going to pull off getting in the finals.
I didn't think he was gonna win. I felt like fairly confident, like, oh, he's athletic, but I don't know. I just think that he doesn't do enough. And sure
Yeah,
enough,
like that's why I didn't think he
didn't.
was going to make the finals. I was like, I don't know. About
He
this.
waited too long. And it showed. But how about Bryce Andonian? I mean, he was the guy that really took Levi to the break. He was winning with
Yeah.
30 seconds left. He got that takedown, and then Levi comes charging back, and then he gets him on his back and pins him.
Yeah, Bryce split hard too.
And it looked like he was wrestling so much smarter than he usually does.
Shout out to Levi Haynes. I mean, bonus points until the finals. I mean, that's as dominant as a performance as you can kind of have.
I mean, Andonian, the I don't know if you just said that, but the semi slide and then pin via pin.
Yeah, dude, not his best performance. I was surprised by that. I was surprised Chittum lost so early because I was like, oh, Chittum will get through this and we'll have a good, match with Meyer. Chittum gets majored by Tommy Askey at App State in the first round. And I was like, what?
And he has probably one of the craziest matches of the tournament against Blockus.
Yeah, 14-13. Yeah, I think he still needs a little bit of fine tuning. He's like a sports car, but like needs an oil change or something. He needs like some tweaking or something. Shapiro we had as the winner. At least Mike and I did, not Mike Long. And he couldn't get over the hump with Cardenas until it was for third place, where he avenges the loss and beats him 10-4.
He finally cracked the code. He'll never lose to Cardenas again.
Listen, I still want to see Shapiro versus Haynes. I think that's an electric match, and we'll have to wait until next year to see it. But
we might see it in freestyle this year. Is the rumor? I think there's a belief that both guys are going to try for the 74 kilo spot, and just keep packing that weight. I don't know. I think they both might go 70 for just like juniors or something because they're both so young still. But I have to add this in. It kind of felt good to see Will Luan not do so great because his style of like, hey, I'm not going to wrestle was just so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, Peyton Robb beat him up.
Mm-hmm. And Johnny Lovett beat him too.
Yeah, that in overtime. He went down how he loves to.
Yep, he lives and dies by overtime.
Franek ends his career as an All-American, 8th place.
He barely got by Joey Blaze though in the first round.
Yeah, but he still got it done. He's done, right? He was a senior, right?
Yeah, Franek's gone.
Who really knows what eligibility anymore?
No, Franek's gone.
And Mike, your boy Ed Scott, All-American last year, not so much this year.
There's a theme here. NC State underperformed.
Andonian brought it to him, man. 19-8.
How about Keller pinning him?
Yeah. In like a minute too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andonian beat him 13-7, and he had 2 losses again. Like Scott beat him twice, 13-5, including at the ACC.
Yeah.
To switch it around like that.
This weight class surprisingly had the least amount of upsets. Only 14 matches.
Dang.
Upsets. All right, as we go into 165, I mean, I personally think, like, I put a poll out there. Who is the MOW of the tournament? I mean, there's got to be a strong case for David Carr. Like, I feel like everyone had written him off. We had O'Toole winning this. I in our round 4 video though, I did say that they're going to split matches this year, and that's what ended up happening. But I thought it was going to be Carr beats him in the duel, and then Keegan beats him at nationals. And that's
I think I put it backwards. I think I said that Carr won the duel and the Big 12s and lost at nationals. I said I think Carr is going to lose both and win at nationals.
I said O'Toole was going to win all 3, and then they didn't have the duel. So well, regardless, I was wrong.
I was texting some people. I'm so happy for David Carr. Like, I just like for some reason everyone dislikes Dayton Fix. I feel like everyone loves David Carr. Again, super great guy, has done nothing but been positive in the sport. Um, Great family. I feel like people were probably offering him transfers to be like, hey, like leave Iowa State, come to like Penn State. I wouldn't have been surprised if that was an offer. Um, but man, just stuck true to himself, stuck true to his team. Just super great. It was
Did
tough
you
to watch
guys
him
did you
in like
guys see Swiderski's interview
yes,
where
love
Swiderski
that.
was like, "I'm usually the fastest guy in the room, and David's usually right there with me." So then, the past few weeks, I've been turning to David and being like, "I'm Keegan O'Toole. You better beat me." And I didn't beat him one time.
And we saw, I mean, look at how important conditioning is. Everyone, as you get older, you're just like, oh, expect your conditioning is going to be fine and continue to focus on the wrestling itself. But we just saw Keegan lose a match on conditioning.
And he even talked about it. He was like, "Yeah, I got to figure out if that was, something mental or something physical, but
Yeah.
I gassed."
Yep. Which, again, for Keegan, like to own up to that, a lot of guys wouldn't do that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and even Carr in the finals gassed against Mesenbrink.
Well, what do you guys think about those stalling calls? I think that's very
Oh, I
controversial.
thought it was ridiculous that Carr was getting as many. One of the stall calls was as he was shooting in, taking down Mesenbrink, and it was like, how is that stalling?
Yeah, we kind of talked about ref interference during the veto match. I don't know. Just because like Messenbrink has that pace and he has a tendency to control the center of the match, the perception looks like he's doing more, even though Carr was the one getting the takedown. So I think there was maybe a little bit too quick of a call some of those.
Most of those stall calls against Carr, I kept yelling like, why is that stalling? I don't understand.
do you guys think that Messenbrink didn't realize the score?
I think Mesenbrink thought the score was 8-8, but didn't realize that it was riding time.
I thought the same thing because he was kind of holding center towards the
Well,
end, and he's
there
like,
was
okay,
10
like
seconds there, and he didn't even make an attempt.
yeah, I think that he thought it was tied and it was going overtime. And he's like, cool, I got him right where I want him. My conditioning is up. I'm ready to go after it. And then he's like, wait, what do you mean I lost?
Well,
I
and
think that might
people are getting on the coaching for that. Like the coaching should have been the one like that's on Kale for letting your guy know that the match is
you're losing.
yeah. So I don't know. It's a tough spot. I honestly don't think it was really that close. It shouldn't have been that close to begin with the stallings, but I'm very happy for David Carr. Great guy for the sport. Messenbrink is going to have an incredible career, and it just goes to show, like we'll talk about Carter and Brooks later, but like how difficult it is to be a four-time champion. Like Levi Haynes will not be a four-time champion. Mitch Messenbrink will not be a four. Like it is so hard. And
Keegan O'Toole won't be a four timer.
yeah,
Yeah.
Keegan O'Toole.
How about Garvin? 20 seed makes the
Yeah.
podium.
Well, just
Beats
yeah,
him
look
clean.
like a Carr's path. He beats a guy who goes on to All American. He beats Dean Hamity, who doesn't All American,
Yeah,
but
I was
like
gonna
is
say
one
the
of the
guy's
best
not.
wrestlers in the weight class, and then beats O'Toole and Mesenbrink.
Well, because didn't Hamity run into Olenek because
Yep.
Amin freaking knocked off Olenek in overtime?
Yeah, but Hamity has never beaten Amin, so it would have been a tough matchup for him anyway.
But you got Hamity, Amin, and Ramirez. All three done All American.
Yeah, that's true. This is the first time Amin has an All American.
Yep.
Because he lost to Garvin.
Shout out to Brevin Casella for winning a couple matches. He made it to the round of 16.
Honestly, Ramirez did better than I thought he was gonna do, but
well, he didn't All American though.
Yeah, that's better than I thought he was gonna do.
The number of upsets 19 in this one. 19. So right around average, the midpoint. Okay, 174. Carter Sirachi becomes Penn State's first four-time NCAA champion. He does it on one leg. He does it by beating Mackay and Shane Griffith and Rocco Welsh in the finals. And he does it by pissing on the kid's grave. It's like you think like everyone's saying Carter for Hodge, and then he tweets stuff like that, and it's like one step forward, two steps back. Always, it's always the way.
So the hardest thing that I've had to wrap my head around Carter's run is that of the takedowns that he gave up, he got taken down by Andrew Sparks and Adam Kemp, but Mekhi Lewis, Shane Griffith, and Rocco Welsh couldn't take him down. That doesn't make any sense to me that those two were able to, but those other three guys couldn't.
Well, you guys collectively chose him to lose to Rocco Welsh, and I was telling you guys, Rocco Welsh doesn't do anything, and he proved that again. 4-1 overtime, 4-1 overtime, 4-1 overtime.
Well, yeah, but
and
he didn't get taken down by Carter.
Yeah, but he
No.
didn't. He didn't have any offense. He was in no position to score a takedown at any point
stall
during that
point.
match.
Stall point and an escape. I mean,
He's
I
been
don't know.
watching Bo Bartlett wrestle for years, and
Do you think that the stall point against Rocco Welsh came kind of quick?
oh, absolutely. I was like, what is this stall call against Rocco? Like, it was 2 in the first period. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Carter did a great job holding center, fighting the edge, shooting out of bounds. I think that's what
He
did
did
it.
3 shots in a row twice. I didn't think that was
Yeah, but-
worthy of 2 different stall calls.
For 0 shots from Rocco Welsh, who was just like, "Hey, I don't even want to hand fight." I mean, he was backing up. He moved to the edge, and I'm surprised that Carter didn't give up a stall point at the end of the match because I feel like he was like, "Hey, I'm shutting down."
I think Jordan Burroughs and Cormier said it best. He was gaming the system. He was looking like he was trying by doing half shots, and the problem was that Welsh literally was not doing that at all. So
Yeah.
it looked like, yeah, Carter is actually trying, even though he probably wasn't.
No, yeah.
And hey, he got the stalling for it. I'm not upset about that because Welsh didn't do anything. And that was my concern. I was like, he just doesn't have the offense to do it. And I feel like at this weight class, there's so many defensive wrestlers that we're not going to take it to Starachi. Like Mekhi Lewis didn't take a single shot. Even if Edmund Ruth wrestled him, he wouldn't have taken a single shot. Shane Griffith, very limited offense that we saw. The two guys that actually tried, Adam Kemp got the takedown and then shut down. I think maybe he gassed or something.
After 12 seconds, I don't know how about you gassed.
It was astonishing.
Like, you literally got 12-second takedown on Carter, and I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah,
And
well,
then, okay, he does nothing else the entire match.
watching those matches, I'm like, man, I just don't know if Carter's going to be able to get it done. And all I kept seeing throughout the past few days was how Carter isn't physically better than some of these guys right now, but mentally he's leaps and bounds above the competition. I mean, look at how much respect, Mekhi Lewis and Shane Griffith and
That was, I
Rocco
think,
Welsh.
Mekhi's biggest problem was a mental barrier. He didn't wrestle him like, this is a diminished Carter.
Yeah.
This isn't Carter that I've always wrestled. He wrestled him like he's 100%, and it cost him for sure.
Carter was definitely in the heads.
Griffith was also not at 100%. He freaking had both legs wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But how about Griffith beating Mekhi?
Yeah, it's tough way to finish a career for Mekhi Lewis.
Well, actually, Mekhi Lewis is pretty lucky to even be in that match. I think
Ben
Pasiuk got screwed.
Ben Pazuk pinned Mekhi Lewis, and then it was reversed because Mekhi's foot hit the chair.
Dang.
Like, that's ridiculous to me. Like, did that little tap on the chair really affect him getting pinned? I do not think so.
Well, it's the same thing like you see guys do a full split and then they touch their foot to the wood and they're like, oh, out of bounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
so we're just going to stall. Like,
Let's just make the mats a little freaking bigger so they can't do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a different issue. How about Lennox Wallach making the semis for Columbia? And hey, he is going to be transferring next year to Virginia. I think he ran out of eligibility, to be fair, because he's a grad transfer.
Yeah, it says grad, yeah.
So he's going to be transferring to Virginia Tech. So you lose Mekhi Lewis and you get another All-American. So good pickup for Virginia Tech there.
Right.
This weight class had 22 upsets, by the way.
Question for you guys.
Simma.
Does Carter make 74 kilos?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, does he make a return for the fifth?
No, I don't think he's coming back. I mean, Carter's interesting, but he did some, he did an interview, he's like, yeah, it's my last folk style match. Um, I think that maybe if he doesn't do so well at the Olympic trials, he might come back for a fifth. But he's
So what
kind
is
of
that?
been,
Like 163 and a half?
yeah, about
He
that.
looked big.
Well,
But
no,
that's what I mean. Like,
actually, but
he's got 10-ish pounds to lose additionally.
his post-match interview said it enough. This is child stuff compared to what I want to accomplish. Like, I don't think he cares about.
That's
To him,
exactly it.
this is like, oh, I just won middle school states.
I mean, to build off that, he's like, yeah, I just basically won, no, I didn't give up a point in the last 3 matches against 2 returning national champions. Not returning, but 2 former national champions. Didn't give up a single point to them, and I have a torn ACL.
Yeah.
And he didn't say it. I'm hypothesizing his injury. I don't think he's gonna say it. Doesn't make any sense to say it at this point because it doesn't matter.
But yeah, no, yeah, that's true. If you look at those 3 matches, he didn't give up a point to anyone but Adam Kemp and Andrew Sparks.
Yeah. So he's like,
What?
why? In his mind, he's like, why come back for a fifth? He's like, yeah, I'll just win it easily. And he's like, this is kind of small potatoes to me, and I'm ready to move on to Olympics, Worlds, and then fighting.
I got
I
taken
just,
down by 2 guys that did an All-American, but the
I
3
just,
All-Americans that I wrestled, they couldn't score on me.
I just don't see him making 74 kilo. It's a big, it's a big drop. And he
That
did
is
look,
that, yeah, that's like at least 12 pounds for him. So even if he does make it, he's going to be worthless, I feel like.
I just don't know if he'll be able to wrestle with the energy and then have the injury as well. It's just gonna be.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, here's the field too: Kyle Dake, Jordan Burroughs, Mitch Messenbrink, Keegan O'Toole, David Carr, Jason Nolf, Quincy Monday, Alex Marinelli, Alex Facundo, Jarrett Jock, Tyler Berger, Levi Haynes, and Vincenzo Joseph.
Yeah, it's a super deep field. I mean, and it could possibly get deeper. I mean, we don't know additionally who's coming up. It's funny that almost half those guys are like Penn State. I mean, you got Dake, Messenbrink, Nolf, Storaci, Facundo, Haynes, kind of Vincenzo Joseph, even though he's not there right now. Um, it's pretty cool.
And we all know Jordan Burroughs is coming for that leg. I mean, that's a different controversy for another day. But
yeah, right. That he commented that.
I was talking about that with the some coaches last night too.
What about Sima?
Yeah, hey,
28 seed, gave Shane Griffith everything he could handle.
Yeah.
And almost beat him too.
Do you think if I thought, and I was talking about this with Eamon, I was like, I think
Griffith broke him.
Why? I was like, if Sima wins, I said he might be the guy that could get through Carter because he doesn't have the same respect for him that Mackay and Griffith had. And he's like, I'm just going to go after. I'm the 28 seed. I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was like, I didn't get an automatic qualifier. I didn't automatically earn my spot here. I had an at-large bid. I got to prove that I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
And he did that. And I mean, he had a great opportunity to All-American there. He had the 9-8 match with Pazuk. But
yeah,
this is probably one of the more four-seeded brackets.
Well, yeah, I was just saying 22 upsets. That was the second most out of everything.
Yeah.
Another candidate, in my opinion, for most outstanding wrestler, Parker Keckeisen, was the only guy to 100% bonus the field.
Hey, his closest match was the semifinal. Okay.
Yeah, major decision. I mean,
10-2 was his closest match.
I mean, absolutely blitzed the field. And hey, he's a serious Hodge Trophy contender. I think we're all in agreement that it's going to go to Aaron Brooks, but this guy's got to be second place.
Yeah.
How about Pinto?
No All-American again from Pinto. I'm starting to lose hope on Lenny Pinto. I think he doesn't have the gas tank. He's kind of wrestles a little lazy. He cuts corners, tries to think he can muscle guys through, and it's just not working against certain guys.
Fishback gets upset in the first round. NC State, what are you doing?
Well, he ended up being a round of 12 guy, but he loses to Truex. I so wanted Truex to be 4-time fourth.
Yeah, he messed it up.
Fifth.
How about
He had the
Foca
same
losing
record
to,
at NCAAs that would have gotten him fourth.
Yeah.
Foca losing to Conway from Franklin and Marshall? I didn't have that on my bingo bracket.
Yeah, but then he goes in the consolations and he texts Iserov, who beat him 3 times this season.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
But
Also, David
he's also
Key.
around the 12th
Say
guy.
what?
Hey, this was the first year, and I forget the year, but all 3 service academies, Air Force,
All-American.
Navy, and Army had an
Oh, because of
All-American.
Key, Pazuk, and Wyatt.
Yeah. So love to see that. It's incredibly hard. Those are probably the 3 hardest schools to get into in the country. And
Yo, I couldn't believe Berge.
yeah, Bennett Berge takes 4th place after losing.
Didn't he lose in the first round and then won
first round.
6 straight?
Yeah.
Everyone was
back.
talking about KSAC coming back to win 7 in a row. And the small schools, they never get any love. Well, I guess because
That's
he
didn't
didn't
get third.
He didn't.
He kept Munoz to a 9-7 match.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Truax beat Salazar 12-0.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what
in
the heck is
overtime?
that? Yeah, what happened there?
Salazar just wanted to, semi-slide. He didn't make the finals, so why bother?
TJ Stewart is a guy that I think we're going to see a bright future from. He All-Americans in his freshman year, 7th place. And Dustin Plott, he was just second fiddle. This guy was just an absolute unit all year.
Yeah, he's just. It really was a 2-man race. I mean, I feel like 197.
I
And
would have liked
184
to have seen Munoz on Plot.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day.
No, I know it wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day, but I'm just kind of curious, like how that match would have played out.
So this weight class had 17 total upsets, one of the second fewest out of any.
Nice.
All right, 197.
Feldkamp did an All-American.
Who?
Nope.
Feldkamp.
Yeah, no Feldkamp. Aaron Brooks becomes the 7th 4-time national champion, and he does it by teching, fall, teching, and then decisions Trent Hidley, but it really wasn't that close.
No,
He looked like a
controlled that whole
man
thing.
just toying him around. Like it wasn't all that competitive.
Honestly, Hidley was the only guy on NC State that didn't underperform.
Well, he did what his seed was. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little surprised by Michael Beard taking 8th. I thought he would have been a little bit more competitive in some of those matches. But shout out to Little Rock, Stephen Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, knocking off Lou Dupre. Oh, Lou.
Yeah, Lou makes the quarters, needs 1 to All-American, and this was heartbreaking. He's winning 2-0, gives up 2 stalling points in the 3rd period to send it to overtime, and then gets taken down. I mean, that's just not the way you want to go out.
No.
Jacob Cardenas wrestles back for 4th, and he's going to be hitting the transfer portal. Rumors have it. So Cornell's going to be losing a high-performing guy there.
I thought he was a senior.
Apparently he has 1 more year of eligibility. And then we have Tanner Sloan taking 5th. And yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier. Aaron Brooks for Hodge. I think that's what's going to happen. It's not really going to be all that close. 197 had 18 total upsets.
Tough day for Jackson Smith and Zach Glazier losing in the first round.
How about Zachy Lamb?
Yeah.
Oh wait, Zach Glazier. Yeah, no, I was pride and joy. Freaking up.
That was tough because I Zach Glazier made a fan out of me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
well, he's coming back next year.
I don't know this guy,
Yeah,
but I was like
yeah.
rooting for him.
He said he's coming back next year, so he'll have his chance again.
I saw some dumb comments still, not on our channel, but just on like in the wrestling world that were like AJ Ferrari would have won 197. Still.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, he didn't beat Glazier, who I don't even think did that good.
Glazier,
My
I don't think
opinion.
Glazier won a match.
No, that's what I mean. Like, you're telling me like AJ Ferrari, they're like AJ Ferrari would have beaten
No, he won
Brooks.
one
Oh
match.
no, Glazier won a
And-
match.
And then he
They
lost
thought-
to Little. That's a tough draw, maybe.
in
but-
overtime. So arguably, had he not lost a little,
He
he
come
could
all
have
the
been
way.
on the podium.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
just was like, man, the AJ Ferrari stuff still drives me bananas.
yeah. What's it called? But Zachy Lamb, semifinalist. I called it.
Rocky Lamb.
Oh yeah, Rocky Lamb. Zachy Lamb
They-
also got
That was
on the podium.
there was a fun fact about that. In the semifinals at 197, all 4 guys were world medalists in freestyle.
That's impressive.
And then Aaron Brook techs him anyway. And then
Yeah,
Trent
I wasn't
Hidley-
expecting a tech in the semis there.
and Hidley did great, great work as well. Like, I mean, like, it really was similar to 185, 184. You had Parker Keckeisen and Dustin Plott. You had Aaron Brooks and Trent Hidley, and the rest of the field was way below.
Yep.
Yeah, according to Intermat, Cardenas is a senior.
Okay.
Well, I heard he has another year. All right, last round
Oh,
here.
but WrestleStat does have him as a junior.
Yep. Greg Kirkland gets his first national championship, and he beats Lucas Davison. Shout out Lucas Davison. He came out and he had 2 monstrous upsets to Younger Bastida and Wyatt Hendrickson to make the finals. And we saw Younger tweeted a picture. He broke his hand 5 days before nationals. Carter Strachey was able to win a national championship with a broken hand.
Carter's just built different. That's it. He's the ultimate competitor.
Yeah. And then Wyatt, he had some close matches. First round, Seth Neville's, like, he was on his back.
Yeah.
But hey, he still comes back and takes 3rd place. And then Colton Schultz does the semi slide.
I
saw
knew
some
he
people-
would.
Yeah, some people predicting Colton to take 3rd.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Colton
I was
takes
like,
third.
yeah,
He's
dude,
never
I said-
done that. He was
Colton-
lucky enough to make the finals the year he got second.
Colton's strategy is I'm gonna underhook you and I'm gonna work you to the edge. I mean, he's like the antithesis of like the classic bigger, slower heavyweight where he's collar tying, he's underhooking, and watching, Kirk kind of take him apart. What was he doing? He was doing like, sweeps to the outside, and he was just picking him up, and he was like, dang, dude, Kirk was just so much faster than Colton Schultz. And I think that a lot of guys are afraid to get underneath him. And you're going to see guys probably start to do, some outside shots and just be quick. And like we saw, he lost all the way. I mean, he was the 4 seed, took 6th.
Yeah. Yeah, Feldman beat him up.
Yeah.
Hey, Feldman 1-0 lost to Kirk. I think he was the closest guy to take out the champ and just couldn't get a takedown. The size difference proved to be too much.
Imagine if he got that Big Ten takedown this time around. Kirk might have lost.
Yeah, but Kirk didn't take a shot in that match, which was
In which
weird.
case, Feldman would have been in the finals.
Because we saw
Yeah.
Kirk really actually wrestle in the finals, which was surprising because he
Yeah.
doesn't typically
I thought he was
have
just
that
going to
much
lie.
offense.
How about Corey Day over Luis Fernandez?
Defensive pin. That sucks for Fernandez. You like your last match of the year, you pin yourself.
Seth Fernandez, or not Seth Neville's.
Seth Neville's Maryland flagman. Yeah.
Yeah.
The flag didn't wave enough for him to actually pull off the upset. That's all that happened there.
No.
But how about frickin' Treffin?
Yeah, another NC State guy couldn't get it done.
Friggin' went 1-2.
Yeah.
Upset by Bradley Hill.
I called that. You guys called me crazy.
Bradley Hill, yeah.
Anyway, the number of upsets this weight class was 19. So
Okay.
out of all matches, there were 191 total out of 630 matches. So that equated to roughly 30%. 30% of all matches were upsets.
So our Cactus Collective picks, we had 8 All-Americans, 3 champs, 1 runner-up, 3 thirds, and a 6th, and then 2 non-All-Americans.
Two
Not
round
bad.
of 12s. 2 round of 12s.
Yeah, the 2 non-All-Americans were 2 round of 12 guys. And Matt Ramos and Bastida are those two that were the round of 12 guys. Bastida, who blew his quarterfinal against Davison, and Ramos, who I still don't understand how you're the guy that beat Spencer Lee and then the following year don't even get on the podium. But
It is just shows how crazy 125 has been.
yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah, I think our picks were, they were pretty good. Even though
I mean, our picks weren't that bad. Like we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 were top 3 guys. And then Lovett was 6th.
The moral of the story is you don't pick against Penn State unless it's 125 because the curse continues. No All-American.
yeah,
there.
Right. I was
Yeah.
like, dang, Braden Davis gonna finally break the curse. No,
No,
Big
he
Ten
broke
title.
the Big Ten curse of
Yeah,
them
Big
not
Ten
having
title,
a
that's-
champion.
it's a step in the right direction.
So drop a comment down below. What'd you think of this year's tournament? Hey, Dan Cormier is getting a bunch of heat for his commentating. I thought he was great. I don't know about you guys. I thought he was hilarious.
Yo, did you see his thing? He said he's never doing it again.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Mason Beckman was like calling him out or something.
Yeah, because he says that this is terrible. He's boring to watch.
Cormier is a little bit out of touch on some of the college rules, which made some of his comments. He's like, "That's a takedown," and then Burroughs is like, "No, it's not."
Well, one of Cormier's that cracked me up was when Burroughs was talking about feeling bad for winning. He's like, "Oh, you feel bad when you win?"
Yeah, Burroughs is talking about how like if he'll win a match 5-1, he wants to go out and dominate. And Cormier was like, "Oh yeah, is that really like you feel bad when you take win?"
You feel bad when you win? Yeah, JB. Okay.
I thought he was good. I think it was entertaining. They had good banter.
He was more entertaining than Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So drop a comment down below. What were your thoughts on the season? I thought this tournament, the finals in particular, was a little underwhelming. There weren't really all that many close matches. Like heavyweight
The quarterfinals
now,
at 125 was hard to
7-0.
beat because you had Davis got upset and then the other 3 matches all went overtime.
Yeah. But another great year of wrestling in the books. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Cactus Wrestling not going away. Make sure you get your Cactus Wrestling merchandise. And congrats again to our winner, Reed Ryder.
What other merchandise would you like to see added to the store?
Let us know in the comments below.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.